Hello there, welcome to the booth here at the World Magic Cup. That's Matej Big Z Zadokaj and Marshall Sutcliffe, and we are happy to have you along for semifinal action. Only 4 teams left, Matej, and we're going to decide the first finalist here right now. Hello and welcome back to coverage here at the World Magic Cup. I'm Marshall Sutcliffe in the booth with Matej Zadokaj. And down in the feature match here, we have our first semifinal here on Top 8 Sunday. We've got Germany versus Poland all lined up. You can take a look. We're going to start down here on that last table there. Why don't you set up the matchup for us here, Matej? This is Ramanop Red Mirror.
It's lovely. You know, it's a mirror match, so it's hard to expect any player to be favored here. Although, the one good thing for Germany, they've only dropped one match throughout the tournament. Ooh. That means they're the first seed, so they get to play first in all 3 matches. And not a good start, though, with a sun-scorched desert for Morris Temp. It's not where you want to be on turn 1. So maybe some mulligans happening.
Does seem like a strange start, doesn't it?
Yeah, I think he's cried a mountain to the top, it looks like.
Okay, there it is.
After a mulligan.
So let's see what he wants to lead things off with. He has the option to just shock this Soulscar Mage, which is what he's going to do. Yeah,
but it looks like Kaczmarczyk kept 7 cards, and he's going to keep the pressure going with double Earthshaker Kenra in his hand, and even a Hazoret to top things off. And if you're in a Ramanop mirror match, you really want to have access to a Hazard, because if one player does, the other one doesn't, then it's pretty much smooth sailing from there for the Hazoret player.
Interesting choice early there for Moritz. He could have also played an Earthshaker Kenra of his own, or even a Kari Zev Skyship Raider, but he really valued getting the Soulscar Mage off the battlefield while the getting was good.
Yeah, probably he's feeling that he probably wants to stabilize the board before developing his own if he's down on cards. But as you saw, no third land for him. He might have mulliganed him actually down to 5 here because his hand was just not that great. And those Kenras, they're going to start swinging.
Oh, yeah. So that's 4 damage hitting Moritz Templin, dropping him down to 14 already. Pass the turn back for Radek. And let's see if Moritz can continue to hit his land drops and stabilize his board further.
We got the confirmation that actually Templin was on a mulligan to 5, actually. So, yeah, that explains a lot. And that kind of negates his advantage of playing first in this matchup. Because if you're mulligan to 5, you'd rather be on the draw just to get that extra card going and not be at that much of a disadvantage. But Moritz Templin is just going to try to make the best out of it. Plays a Earthshaker Kenra's own. Actually stays back with the Kari Zevs. He's going to try to be defensive here. But Radek seems to have drawn the right answer at the right time with a cut to ribbons.
Ooh.
Boom.
Spicy one there from Radek. That's going to get him in for an additional 4 damage, knocking Moritz down even further here. He's at 9 life already, and you can see why we started on this match. Sometimes this one goes very, very quickly.
Yeah, and with Moritz Templin down to 2 lands, I don't anticipate this game taking that much longer with Kaczmarczyk with that Hazard in his hand. I don't think he will be quite able to attack with it on his turn. He still has plenty of cards in. But, another cut to ribbons. He can clear his way for his Kenras. They might just go all the way.
Yeah, these 2 Kenras have done serious work for Radek. And here we go. There's another hit. 4 damage. Moritz has to have something here, right? There, he's got an Abrade. That's going to stem the bleeding a little. He's going to drop down to 7 life. But with the land drop coming here from Radek, next turn he can just start eternalizing.
Yeah, or playing that Hazard that he's just been sandbagging the whole game just because he just couldn't get the cards out of his hand fast enough.
Yeah. And poor Moritz Templin here, all he can come up with is just a Soulscar Mage, and it is way too late for that.
And look at that. Earthshaker
Kenra. What's your favorite card, Radek? I think we figured that out. That's a lethal attack. Wow, Poland up a game very quickly here.
As expected, right? There's Ramanop Red mirror matches, but if one player has 7 cards, the other one has 5, it's very likely that the player with more cards in his hand just is going to take it home, even though it's not always the case.
That's right. So that's going to do it for our first game, but there are many more to come. Germany versus Poland. We'll be back right after these messages.
Looking for a challenge? Magic Online offers monthly limited and constructed events, which lead to the yearly Magic Online Championship. Download Magic Online at mtgo.com and start earning the points you need to enter.
the game I fell in love with, I want people to experience in many different possible ways. And one of the things that I want to see is it expressed itself in a modern sensibility, in the way that people are playing now. And that part of that is going digital. Like, I love tabletop, and we'll continue to make a tabletop game, but we really want to bring out the best experience, the magic experience, the electrifying thing that made me fall in love with the game. We want to have people play that in a digital form.
And welcome back to the feature match area here at the World Magic Cup. I'm Marshall Sutcliffe in the booth with Matej Zadelkai. We're in our first semifinal match here on the big Sunday. What's going on here? Glogowski's kind of flipping around at that,
Yeah,
that
Glogowski,
Gideon.
he's under the gun here.
Holy smokes, he's way behind, isn't he?
Down to 6, facing Chandra at 6 counters and also 2 pretty large creature. Look at that ballista. The king can just pumped up with one more land. Philip Krieger can pump up twice a turn. And okay, that's why he needs the Fumigate here.
That's a good start, but he's going to need a cast out to follow it up next turn, or else Chandra may just finish this thing off.
Yeah, and remember, Scrabby Scrounger can also come back.
Of course.
Another Chandra for
backup
Krieger
Chandra?
here. Yeah, backup. Why not? And he's getting close to emblem range anyway. Ooh,
Yeah,
Heart of
he
Kirin,
is now
nice.
at 7 loyalty. That is how much you need to create an emblem with Chandra. Heart of Kirin is what he's revealed. He's even decided, I'd rather just have that than the 2 damage.
I mean, with Chandra and a backup Chandra as well, and a veteran motorist.
Wow. That makes the Heart of Kirin lethal on its own if it ever gets to get in the red zone.
Yeah, and I like how he just was straight to the point. He first plus Chandra, then played veteran motorist, and Scry 2 to the bottom.
Just proving a point.
Yeah. All to do for the Polish player on the right, and he doesn't have much going on in here, just a bunch of lands there. Yeah, he has to cycle and just find an answer. Maybe something like Settle the Wreckage could give him an extra turn.
Yeah, but then we're going to see an emblem from Chandra, and there's no way he's surviving through that. So this one's looking very good for the Germans here. Philip Krieger is poised on victory here and could give the Germans their first game win of the round here.
He's in slow rolling the Chandra emblem here. It's like, I don't even need it. I can just attack you with my creatures, and that's it.
That's right, and that is, in fact, it. Philip Krieger picks up his game.
Yeah.
So, good little start here for both teams. 1 game apiece.
And I mean, the Germans have been really pulling their weight. You would expect them to, Mark Tobias being the captain and really pulling his weight. But the two relative unknowns, and Philipp Krieger and Moritz Templin, making their mark. They've just been winning matches left and right. And Germany, the best performing team of the World Magic Cup so far, not just in the semifinals, but only dropping one match.
It's really impressive stuff from these. And like you said, when I was looking over the team list, Mark Tobias, I mean, I recognize his name. He plays on the Pro Tour a lot. We've seen him at the World Magic Cup as well. But the other two, didn't recognize him right away. And they've really done a great job.
Yeah, definitely. And now they're going to not just have a chance to get a good title under the belt, but also they've qualified for the next Pro Tour.
That's right.
Must be very exciting for someone who hasn't played many Premier events.
Also, little known fact, Matej, Germany's my backup team.
Of course it is.
Yeah.
You speak German, kind of.
I do.
You have a lot of German fans, at least. That much I'm sure of.
I have German friends. Here's a Bomat Courier to kick things off for Radek. He's going to pass the turn back to Moritz with no turn one play. He didn't kill the Bomat Courier. He didn't play anything of his own, but he has Karizev on 2.
Yeah, that's I like Karizev in this particular matchup. It just presents a lot of damage once it starts attacking. Look at that. There's no immediate answer for Radek, it seems. Oh, or maybe he has a shock, but would he be willing to trade the Bomat Courier for Karizev and a shock? Well, we won't find out because Moore is just taking the damage. He wants to keep the Karizev around. Drew another one. Punished.
Oops. Yeah, that does happen sometimes. Now what?
Even though
he says, well, I guess I'm going to get in there. So Karizev hits the red zone. Ragavan joins the team as well.
I'm still curious about the no block on the Bomat Courier. I think Karizev is first strike too, not just menace.
She does.
Yeah,
that is
so
correct.
that was a strange sequence from both players, indeed.
And now we see a shock in hand for Radek, and he just doesn't want to use it.
Yeah, to be fair, that's why now I get the play, because that's why he played the Soul Scar Mage before attacking, because Soul Scar Mage with shock, that's the interaction that he was aiming for. So that makes the first strike redundant. So I'm glad I figured it out in the end. That's why I'm the expert, right? And I didn't even need Twitch chat for that. Usually I just
Matej.
I just look, with some anxiety on Twitch chat, like, what am I getting this today?
Oh, we all do that, my friend. They love us, though. You can just ask them.
Yeah, I hope so. Back to the game. Radek is setting up quite well. Look at the stacked hand from Moritz Templin.
Yeah.
Double Sand Strangler, but no deserts for the German. That's
Weird.
quite problematic.
Yeah, he's got a lot of them in the list, though, so he could easily draw one and make this thing work. I was wondering about that, right? With no turn one play, you have to wonder what kind of cards he has in his hand. They're going to be more expensive and therefore more powerful. You do want to go slightly bigger in this matchup, generally speaking. And Moritz, he's actually flirting with the idea of going a little too big here with all those 4-drops stuck in his hand. But, if he finds a Ramanop Ruins or something similar off the top of the library, he could easily take control of this game.
There's the Harvester.
Yeah, that's obviously a good card in the matchup, though. In the moment, it's not doing a ton, just a 1 prowess trigger.
Better than nothing.
Right, Moritz is going to have to settle. Or Moritz is going to be pretty happy, I think, just to only take 3 damage this turn. It could have been a lot worse than that.
Yeah, exactly. So, Harvester on the field and swing for 3. And more cards under the Bomat Courier. Moritz surely has to do something here.
There we go. He has a Braid to take down that Ethers for Harvester. So really a minimal turn there from Radek's side. And look at that, right off the top of the library there, Matej Scavenger Crowns.
Perfect.
Just what the doctor ordered.
Yeah, it could have been Raminab Ruins or Sunscorched Desert, but Scavenger Crowns will do. And now Sand Stranglers, not that he can cast them, but also that he can get off the ability. And first Soul Scar Mage off the board and swinging with the Karizev. I like it. Moritz Templin taking firm control of this game.
Wow, that was nice there for Team Germany. That sequence worked out beautifully. He took minimal damage on that turn, got to use up some of his mana, and then ripped exactly what he needed to help stabilize this board. Now all of a sudden he's ahead on the life total race even.
Yeah, and Radek has a bit of a problem that he doesn't have the fourth land of his own. He has still plenty of options. He has some shocks. I see a PNLR, and I think he also has a Hazoret. But now that's why the Sand Stranglers are so good in this matchup, just because you not only get a fairly decent body, but you get something off the table, and it can help you if you're ahead or coming from behind. And that's quite important in this matchup because you can't always rely on the fact that you'll be winning. So sometimes you need to find a way to claw your way back into the matchup.
I generally prefer just going with the Haymaker route.
Haymakers?
Yeah, just cast huge unbeatable spells every turn until I win.
Well, yeah, you can't always get those huge unbeatable spells, get those
Speak for
lands.
yourself. I do just fine with it. But
I wish I had your luck then.
yeah.
Maybe you should trade the booth for the floor.
I've thought about it.
Yeah?
I really like being in the booth, though. I'm
Yeah,
not gonna
so do
lie.
I.
Yeah.
It's lovely being here, especially with you.
Yeah, I agree.
And tough decisions. I mean, we can chit-chat here a little bit, but Radek Kaczmarzyk just hasn't figured out what he wants to do here yet.
He's deep in the tank. And, normally in these situations, this is where you'd assume that his teammates are flanking him, helping him out. But it's actually just him. He's flying solo here at the moment from what I can see. And just apparently important juncture in the game and really doesn't want to make a mistake at this point.
Yeah.
Although, now that I say that, his teammate did just join him there. That was Kowalski just popping over to say hello.
Yeah, he was looking a little bit desperate here. So it looks like they figured out that they want to cut the Sand Strangler away. Leave the Bomat Courier train rolling here. Fourth card underneath. That's already quite good.
TikTok.
Yeah, but it's still it's not much better if you have lands available.
That's right. And this is going to be really interesting because I think that Templin may just want to fire off that other Sand Strangler here. And if he does, he's going to put Radek in an interesting situation because Radek actually has 4 cards in hand already. And he can't cast any of them if he wants to cash in the Bomat Courier now. So let's see if Moritz actually puts him to that test or if he has a different line for this turn.
Yeah, a little bit of problem with sacrificing the Bomat Courier is the fact that he has 4 spells in his hand, and if he sacks it, he's very likely to have 1, 2, maybe even 3 lands.
Right.
And so I don't think he'll want to lose that quite yet.
How worried is Moritz Templin about this, though? Like, is this something that he wants to snap off as soon as possible? Or is he looking at that same ratio and going, what are you really going to do? Sacrifice it now and just pitch 4 cards?
Yeah, I mean, at this point, Moritz knows that Radek has 4 spells in his hand.
Right.
It just depends on how good they are. But playing the Sand Strangler here would be pretty good just because it develops the board further, puts a 3/3 on the table, and he's winning the damage race. So he just wants to keep on putting more and more pressure on it.
By the way, Moritz is also flying solo here. Mark Tobias is actually at the other table, lending a hand to Philip Krieger.
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out what a good set of 4 cards would be here for Radek Kaczmarzyk, and even if I would find some very quickly,
It has to be better. So, like, what is he?
I don't know.
Lands and Hazarets or something? It's a tough one,
even
right?
then, if he finds another Hazoret and the 4th land, he still won't be able to block with it, and then he'll be on the receiving end of 6 more damage. And Moritz still has 2 more cards in his hand too, even though they're not that great.
I mean, it feels bad to let a Bomat Courier with 4 cards under it go, but given the fact that he's been crimped on lands, it's hard to imagine that he's going to improve from here.
Yeah, never mind. I just saw that Templin does actually have a Hazoret, so I'll take that back. That's a good card to have when you already found the lands and you're running out the cards turn after turn.
See, Moritz gets it.
Yeah, he gets it.
Just keep slamming 4 drops. And
Indeed.
eventually the advantage bar will creep your direction.
And then it looks like, Kowalski helping out again here. And Radek needs it. It's been a tough couple of turns. Look at that. Is he cashing it in?
Wow.
He's cashing it in. Let's see what he finds.
Boy, this could backfire really badly for him, but he must have something very specific in mind that he wants to find. Look at that. At least 2 lands.
Yeah, and I think there wasn't Hazard. Just threw an Earthshaker can or 2.
Oh, there is a Hazoret in there, too.
Good for him.
Okay. I'm listening, Radek.
It looks like he just wants to play the Hazoret first.
He does. Of course, with 3 cards in hand, Hazoret's not doing anything at the moment, and that means that Moritz Templin is clear to bash for another 6 damage this turn.
Yeah, but Moritz found a 1-drop in Soulscar Mage.
He found it. Make it 11. That's lethal.
Boom.
Oh,
There we go.
baby. Moritz Templin evens things up here in the Ramen Up Red mirror match on our back table. And look at the Polish players. They look stunned.
Yeah. That was exciting, though.
Very much so. Whew. Had to be a one drop for Moritz, but he got there. So they're all evened up on that back table. That brings us back up to the front. And it looks like we came just in time to see
Duress.
a duress. That's what it was. All right. And it took away, what did it take away? Drakehaven down
Yep,
there?
and there's still Fumigate, Double Torrential Gearhulk, and a Regal Caracal left in Glogowski. What? He's down to 5? And it has to face the Heart of Kirin, and we only 4 lands. He needs a 5th land, at least for the Caracal, and that won't... Oh, okay. Phew. There we go, 12.
Right, well.
That's much more manageable. I was like, where did the damage come from? There's just a Gideon on the board.
Oh, Gideon. Gideon does work, but not that much work.
Yeah. I like actually the inclusion of Gideon in this deck. We haven't seen the
boy.
Gideon at all, and now it's going to
Did
do
you see that, Matej?
main phase.
Just main phase, effectively tapping out for Hieroglyphic Illumination, clearing the way for Philip to get in for a huge hit of damage if he can crew up that Heart of Kirin.
And he also has, I saw a Walking Ballista in his hand and a Scrappy Scrounger.
Oh, wow.
He has to be careful, though, because he knows about the Fumigate. So at least that could clear away if he decides to just play out his 2 creatures. But still, Fumigate is really bad against Gideon and Heart of Kirin. So
That's right. Here we go. Get in for 8. And Glogowski just says, yeah, I'll take it. And this one has slipped away from him. Philip Krieger could be on the verge of picking up the first match of the round here for Team Germany.
comprehensively at that, too.
Yes. This has been very convincing. Of course, we've all seen Pyotr Glogowski streaming. He goes by Canister. We also saw him in the top 8 of the last Pro Tour, so we've got to know him pretty well, but our time may be short with him here in this first semifinal. Philip Krieger from Germany just laying the damage down.
Yeah, thinking about what he wants to deploy here, because he knows that Fumigate is coming, but he probably feels like, look, I have a Heart of Kirin, I have a Gideon Trials. Do I even have to play a creature here? And look at that, he doesn't.
Well, this could open the door for Glogowski, who plays land passes a turn.
So now there's the Gearhulk.
Gearhulk and Settle are the cards that you should be thinking about if you're Philip Krieger. The Gearhulk, of course, not going to do much against the Heart of Kirin, though maybe something in the yard could. Settle the Wreckage, though, just fine.
Yeah,
Jeez, Krieger's just getting in, though.
and he's going for it. And I think we're going to see the Settle the Wreckage here.
This could be a blowout.
Yeah, so,
Settle the Wreckage targeting you, and that actually works.
yeah. But, Marshall, the most important thing is
Yeah.
that this fetches 2 lands for Krieger.
Okay.
Which he certainly doesn't mind. He still has the Scrappy Scrounger that he can play out. And remember, he still has the Walking Ballista. And Settle the Wreckage
no.
really helps Philip.
He needs 1 land
It's just
to make
one
a
untapped
lethal
land.
ballista. Oh, my goodness.
Yeah, and we think that he might not have that.
There it is, Concealed Courtyard. Next turn,
Nah.
if he can resolve himself a ballista, he could win the game.
Yeah, let's not forget that there's still stuff like Countervailing Winds. And
course.
even the Sensor
Of course.
is a potential
Sensor.
risk. But we'll see. Krieger hasn't even played that, a Scrappy Scrounger.
Why isn't he playing
I
that?
think he should have. Oh, we'll see soon enough. Oh, and Glogowski, he's going for the Caracal.
Yes.
That just means he's going to tap out, isn't he? He doesn't know about the Ballista, though.
No, he doesn't know.
Krieger knows. Changes in mind. Oh, look at that.
Math. Look at the numbers. He's like, how many counters can you put on that? It's got to be tempting to tap out for Caracal, but you don't want to lose on the spot. Interesting, because Pyotr had to look at that and go, oh, well, you actually have way more lands than before thanks to that. Settle the Wreckage. That changes everything.
Yeah, now Glogowski maybe has to find a different way to win. And if you look at his hand, there is the Fumigate, there's the double Gearhulk that Krieger knows about.
Now, interesting, does he have a counter spell in his graveyard?
Yeah, we can't quite get to see the graveyard. He might have something good there. He's actually going for it.
Oh, he's just going for it. Regal Caracal with authority. But look at this. Philip Krieger just shows him the Walking Ballista. Glogowski says, sure, you got a Walking Ballista. Do it for 4 to your face. And that is match number 1 going to Team Germany and Philip Krieger. Great stuff from Philip. Like you said, not a super known player out here, but
He's not
Running
messing
him over.
around. Yeah,
No.
he's really not messing around. I actually spoke to the Slovak team before the quarterfinals that Germany beat. And they were like, yeah, we can never beat this deck. they were on blue-white gift in that match. And there's like Heart of Kirin and like Gideon helping to crew as well. It's just really annoying. And
Yes.
just shows that it's probably good against blue-white cycling as well.
Okay, well, let's head back to our middle table where we have Mark Tobias. He's playing against Grezar Kowalski. And what do we have here? It looks like we're in the mid to late part of the game now, Matej.
Yeah.
2 creatures on the battlefield here for Mark Tobias.
And Mark
Got a
is
Rogue Refiner and a
Yeah,
Glintstream
he's just been milking the card advantage of the Glintstream Siphon from the early game. It seems so. There's a bunch of counters from Mark Tobias. I see double Supreme Will in the graveyard as well as the Glimmer of Genius. So,
Okay.
and if you look at the number of cards in Mark's hand, he's on a
He's
full
got the
grip.
full grip.
Yeah,
He's got
and
7 cards.
Kowalski looks like he has. Only has around 3 or 4, yeah, and there's just a bunch of lands there for Kowalski. But to be fair, he's done well to win the first game over Mark Tobias, because remember the 4-color control, it's still energy based, and a lot of players have said that they really don't want to face against Mark playing this deck because it just goes over the top with torrential Gearhulks.
Now, you're calling it 4-color control here, right?
Yeah,
Where's the 4th color?
it's red, but
he doesn't have any right now.
it's going to come eventually. Ether Hub, and he plays a basic
okay.
mountain as well for that.
I'll be patient then, I
For the
guess.
team. Yeah, you'll get there, Marshall. Don't worry. Right, Vizier.
Shockingly, he also has no red cards in hand, so I guess it all worked out.
How
fine.
convenient.
Yes. No Harness Lightnings yet for Mark.
He still has to figure out a way to navigate through this Bristling Hydra. I think it's now a Bristling Hydra duo.
Yeah, I believe so. He gained 3 energy there, so it looks like it's a pair of Bristling Hydras on the battlefield now for Kowalski, and that is interesting.
Yep. That is one way how to really get advantage on this board.
Just overpower the opponent. Yeah, Hydra.
There we go. So overpower the board. Just make 2 creatures that are too big to get by. And the worrying thing for Tobias is the fact that at one point those Bristling Hydras can get big enough to even get past the Gearhulks, which usually do a very good job of holding them off.
Yeah, that is.
And more cards for Tobias. He's paying energy. He wants to dig further.
Energy and life. No problem. He's down to 8, though. So he is going to need to start playing some pretty impressive stuff. He did find a mountain, by the way. He said he would.
Yeah. Not that he needs it, but plenty of good cards in his hand.
Gosh, this is interesting. I wonder if he can just slog through the energy. You rarely see players take the line of just throwing spells into energy every other turn, but he has so much action in his hand. He's got 7, 8 cards right now. And these Hydras are actually proving pretty annoying for him.
Yeah. One line that could actually prove to be pretty decent here is playing Scarab God, potentially with Essence Scatter Mana up. I think he was just building up to a big turn.
Oh.
So we'll just see if he goes with that line. Yeah, I think he's going for it.
And just start blocking with Scarab God?
Yeah, or because the first block forces Kowalski to spend 6 energy to just trade.
Just to trade.
Yeah, and Kowalski can find some more energy maybe from some other cards to be better than just a trade, to just keep his Hydra on the board.
Which he just did, by the way. He just found a Rogue Refiner off the
There we
top.
go.
And if we take a look at his hand here, Matej, he's also got one of his big hitters. He's got Vraska Relic Seeker there as well.
And the Vraska will be very big game here if he decides to go for it. And he knows that Mark Tobias is running Essence Scatters here, but maybe if that Vraska resolves and he minuses it to kill the Scarab God, he can get in a big attack. Remember, Tobias is already down to 8.
That's right.
And he attacked with his Glintly Siphon. Kowalski down to 10 himself is actually a very close game, but I kind of like the plan with the Vraska Relic Seeker. Remember, both players have deck lists, and I saw Greg Kowalski pacing around the room, reading the deck list of his opponent, because you really want to know what's up when your opponent is on Gearhulks and a bunch of instants.
I love seeing this line here for Mark as well, because what he's really doing is he's trying to get maximum value, but he's also cutting it as close as he can, right? He keeps attacking, and he's not leaving himself a whole lot of wiggle room. But when he does turn the corner, if that's what happens, it'll be a flood of value. And
Ooh,
we
negate.
see negate out of Mark Tobias. That's a huge play here as it maintains his board state as is. And Mark calmly folds his hands on his lap and says, "You got anything else, buddy?"
Yeah. And that Vraska result would be huge, not just getting rid of the Scarab God. Maybe.
Whoa. Is he really attacking
Ooh,
here?
look at that. He is.
So he's actually just going to throw away one of these Hydras.
Yeah, he is, and he's going to have to spend 6 energy to so that he can trade with the Scarab God and survive the block with the Rogue Refiner, going all the way down to 2 energy. Now the negate was huge here, and what a play by Mark Tobias, actually bringing it in the mirror match. I'm pretty sure Greg Kowalski was thinking what I was thinking. Oh, he has Essence Scatter man up. This Vraska should be pretty safe to go. Did he really bring in the gates? Yeah, he did.
He sure did. He had both of them at the ready, and that's why Mark felt comfortable with the attack and his board state there, as really the two things he was most worried about would get countered by either of those spells, and things looking very good.
Yeah, now I'm not
here in game 2.
I haven't hesitated to move the advantage bar at all here. Back to Mark, because now that he untaps with a wealth of cards, look at his hand. He has 7 cards. Removal counter spells.
Also, the shields are now fully down on that Hydra. He can use the Vraska's Contempt to just take it out here with really no repercussions possible for Kowalski.
Yeah, he knows that there's no Blossoming Defense lurking. And now finally he'll find a way through that Bristling Hydra and gain some life back. I like the fact that he was also very aggressively drawing extra cards with the Glint Sleeve Siphoner.
Very much so.
Not really scared of being at such a life total. And now gets him back as well. And keeps putting the pressure on Kowalski, who's going to be down to 8 here.
Yeah, this one has really fallen away from Kowalski. And like we mentioned a few minutes ago, this was the turning point. Right now, all of a sudden, Mark Tobias is the one who's attacking. He's the one who has all the options with the cards in his hand, and Kowalski's almost on empty. He is going to get a chance to play a Rogue Refiner next turn, which could help find him some action.
Yeah, not much else going on. Only Sky Sovereign, though. That's a spicy one. Actually,
he says, "I'd like to cast that."
Yeah, the fun thing for the Polish team here is the fact that Piotr Glogowski actually made top 8 at the Pro Tour Exile playing an energy deck, and Kowalski top 8 at a GP playing the energy deck. So they had to have a little scrap of like who gets to run this deck, and apparently Kowalski won.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it looks that way. And I mean, they gave blue-white cycling to Glogowski, and you know he likes Lantern in Modern, so I'm not surprised he would like white cycling in Standard. Let's put it that way.
All right, we're gonna see this Sky Sovereign hit the battlefield now, and squash that Glint Sleeve Siphoner. And Tobias, he had to use the. I was going to say, he had to use the negate last turn, but that did leave him Supreme Will in hand, and he's able to fire that off here and counter the Sky Sovereign. So once again, Tobias, this is just the manifestation of him having drawn so many extra cards off of this Glint Sleeve Siphoner. This single card here has completely changed the way this game's played out.
Yeah, definitely. Just all the extra cards, and now Tobias can not just keep freely attacking, but also Scarab God with 4 mana up, to bring something back, also with Essence Scatter at the ready. Still also has a Fatal Push, I think. Oh, he might have drawn a Torrential Gearhulk, so he might just rely on that to win the game instead of the Scarab God.
He did draw that,
Yeah, very nice.
Yeah, this is just embarrassing. He's going to Fatal Push here just to kill it. Look at that hand. That is unbelievable.
It's where you want to be, right? This is the dream of any control player.
It's right where I want to be, Matej. To look at that hand. Oh my goodness.
I mean, if there was, I don't know which movie that was from, but if we could like swap consciousnesses into me into Mark Tobias, I would take the trade right now. The feeling must be very nice when you're so much in control of a game.
We could just swap faces.
That'd be enough?
Like on Face Off.
No, it's not what I was aiming for.
That wasn't the movie?
No,
okay.
no.
All right.
I just want to hold 7 cards in my hand and
7 spells, no doubt. Yeah. There's a Rogue Refiner that's going to get Essence scattered here, and Mark Tobias is cruising to the finish here in game number 2. Though it must be said, he is down a game, so this is just to even things up.
There's the
on
Gearhulk.
His main match here in Table B.
Gearhulk and Glimmer, and this is the point where it starts to get really good for the Germans, and Mark Tobias equals it.
That's right, equalizes in the middle table there, and that is Mark Tobias versus Gregor Kowalski, kind of the 2 big hitters on the teams, right?
Yeah, definitely. Greg is the Polish all-time pro point leader, and Mark is. Coming from a strong country like Germany, he still has some way to go before he can reach the same landmark for Germany. But he's proven to be one of the best German players, definitely, and also recent Pro Tour top 8 definitely has helped him to put him into the forefront.
It's interesting because, Kowalski, like you said, he's kind of the elder statesman of Polar Magic. But when we look at the more recent results, we did see Pyotr Glogovsky with his top 8 finish at the Pro Tour and just kind of maybe tugging at the reins there of the old captain.
Hey, great for Poland. I'm surprised it took them this long, to be fair, because Poland is a very big Magic playing country, has had a lot of solid players over the history. I'm thinking someone like Mateusz Kopec was very close to a top 8 at the Pro Tour, and a bunch of other players as well. But we'll get to see if Germany can close out here already, because this is 1-1, and Philipp Krieger has not messed around. He won the first match for Germany here. So let's see if Moritz Templin can put the closing touches on a win for Germany, or if we're going to see a Game 3, Match 3, which I love. We have had plenty of those, but it was fantastic to see all the intense action that goes on, and in a proper 3-on-3 Game 3, Match 3.
That's right. You can't imagine that this Kiryzev's actually going to get to connect here, though, right? Moritz with no turn 1 or turn 2 play.
I'd be very surprised if it survived past the main phase.
Right. See maybe an Abrade or a Lightning Strike. Although now there's a handful here. Here's an Earthshaker Kenra. Oh, boy. The full curve out. And Moritz says, I'd like to not take 3 from Kiryzev. Thank you very much. I'm going to use a Lightning Strike on that. But he's still taking 3 damage either way.
Yep. And he's emptying his hand. If Kaczmarczyk has something like a hazard in his hand, he'll be very, very well set, because it's Moritz Templin who's going to have a very nice play here on turn 3 with a PNLR. You pay 3 mana and you get 2 creatures, which match up very well against what Kaczmarczyk is doing.
Yeah, look at this perfect little matchup there. Just 1 card, put out 2 blockers, and it's going to make Radek's life a little bit tricky. Although now he's at that 4 mana slot, which is where things get really exciting for this red deck. What is he working with?
Double dual shot.
Dual shots?
I saw him yesterday play a dual shot, killing 2 Bomat Couriers. This must have felt really nice. And here, he might just go with double dual shot. No, is that
just Earthshaker?
Just Kenra, yeah.
And then just dual shot. I guess you just dual shot to kill the Thopter?
Yep.
Is he going to fire the other one off?
Well,
he doesn't need to this turn, but it's a way to leverage the Bomat Courier. Though he does actually leave the shields down if he decides to fire that. He would not be able to sacrifice the Bomat Courier. He may just value leaving that up. Those 2 cards could be better.
Yeah, I think the two cards have the potential to be better, but you can see he's struggling himself. But then he decides let's just go with this then. And remember, because the Bomat Courier is 2 cards now, but once he gets to untap and attack, it's actually a 3rd card, which is very important. So far, I think it's Kaczmarczyk with a slight advantage in this one, but Moritz Templin is the one with the cards in hand. I see a Shock, I see an Earthshaker Kenra, also Hazard the Fervent. So if Moritz Templin can weather the storm, he can take this game home.
He has taken a more controlling route in most of his games here. He's the one with Sand Stranglers and the like, so it makes sense. PNLR last turn. This turn, Earthshaker Kenra kicks things off. But again, Moritz wanting to sit back. He does not want to get into a race. It looks like he's just passing the turn.
And now Moritz could get into the point where he might find a better spot to kill off the Bomat Courier. Remember, Radek has only 1 card left, and he's very tempted here.
Yeah, now he can actually kill the Earthshaker Kenra.
Yeah, but he should be patient.
Because if he fires it off and Moritz says in response, it's pretty bad for Radek. Why the emphasis on using up your mana that strongly?
Yeah, and that's what the discussion is here. And Radek is chatting with Piotr Glugowski. And I can see the.
I'd be surprised if they fired. I mean, it's just 1 minute. Wow, they actually going for it.
They do go for it, and now.
Oh, look at this! Templin says, I do have a response, and there goes Bomat Courier. That is a potentially large misstep there for Radek.
Yeah, big play from the Germans here. And he can keep swinging. I mean, it's going to put down Moritz down to 9 already.
Okay.
Look at that, Kaczmarczyk did draw. Okay, it's a Sunscorch. There's no Raminap Ruins though, just yet. But he has the Earthshaker Kenra's graveyard and 5 lands, so a spell or a land the Polish players could still be fine with. what is Moritz working here? He just has a bunch of land. I think the problem for Moritz that he has the hazard now, but he has 2 lands in his hand.
Yep.
So if now Radek Kaczmarczyk draws an untapped land, he can deal 6.
He hit it.
Oh, he did?
Yes, he hit a mountain off the top of the library, Matej.
Ooh.
So he can get Moritz Templin down to 2 with his attack step?
I think so. Well, eternalize the Earthshaker Kenra and swing for 6. I mean, this is going to be very, very difficult for the Germans here. You remember, there's not really much life gain, and if this goes through, then the Kaczmarczyk is very much life to just take it home for Poland.
Yeah, the perfect land, of course, would have been Ramanov ruins on top of the library, but let's not get picky.
What is he thinking about
I'm
here?
not sure.
He does have a confirmation that it is a mountain.
Oh, it's a mountain. Yeah,
there we go.
Beautiful, unstable mountains. They really stand out. And there you go. Hit you for 6. Moritz must be like, what was that?
What is he doing?
Is that a hard play?
Yeah, right. So Moritz now
Another land.
Jeez.
So he can get down to enough cards in hand.
Yeah, but he needed another blocker here for one of the creatures, and just hope Radek just whiffs for several turns in a row. So just Radek Kaczmarczyk is very close to winning a match for Poland and equalizing it, and potentially going for that game 3, match 3 that I'm just hoping for.
Of course it would go to that, and of course it would be on our middle table.
Yeah, with the captains.
Yep.
Yeah.
Playing, the most complicated matchup perhaps in our
Look at what he found.
thing. Oh, he found a Ramanov Ruins anyway upstairs, and that's it. Radek Kaczmarczyk wins for Poland, and we're all tied up at 1 match apiece here in semifinal number 1 here in Nice. This is shaping up to be a really nice one as we work our way back to the middle table.
Yeah, did you see that look? It was like Mark.
I didn't.
Yeah, they just looked at each other. Mark's like, yep, I know I have to do this now. It's like he knows that it's up to him for Germany.
Oh, man.
And it's tough. Look at that.
No pressure, Mark.
Where's
I think Kowalski actually may have gone to use the restroom or just take I saw him walking out of the feature match area. He's probably looking in the mirror right now, like splashing some water on his face, like, you got this, man. You can do it.
Yeah.
Do it for your country. He's giving himself a pep talk.
Yeah, I mean, it's a lot of pressure, of course, there, and we're going to hang on for a few moments before.
In some sports, you ever heard of icing somebody?
Yeah.
This is where like they have a big play to make, and then you like call a timeout to let them just think about it for a little while. You think Kowalski's icing Tobias right now?
Yeah, it's possible.
I don't think it's happening. Also, Mark doesn't look particularly bothered. He's just having a chat.
Yeah. I mean, to be fair, it's not very common in the sports that are popular in Poland, I would say. With, soccer, the most one, it's like...
Of course.
So...
What do you think the second most popular sport in Poland is?
Some sort of athletics, I would say.
What does that mean? All sports are athletics.
I mean, like something that you'd see in a
like at the Olympics or something?
Yeah, something like at the Olympics, yeah.
You think it's discus?
Maybe like a pole vault.
Pole vault. Oh, that's
or like
good.
a high jump or long jump, maybe.
I like pole vault being popular
I know.
in Poland.
Come on. I think it should be like the hammer throw. Or javelin, like it's definitely the hammer throw javelin. I'm sure. I don't think it's the second most popular sport, but I imagine they have to have some good sportsmen in that particular area. So
We've got a couple of minutes to kill here. Let's check in on what chat's got going on. They say it is volleyball actually, or ski jumping.
Oh yeah, ski jumping. Oh, let me tell you, when I was a kid, I used to
a lot of ski jumping, by the way.
Yeah, ski jumping. Yeah, it's truly ski jumping. I was a kid. I woke up every weekend to watch ski jumping, and Polish fans will love me for this. Adam Malisz, he was like the original Polish ski jumper. What a man he was. I stopped following a bit later once I discovered Magic, but still, like ski jumping is a very good shout. Thank you, Twitch Chat. You've made me go back and reminisce about the good old times.
Oh man, they're loving that. They're all saying that guy.
Yeah, of course they are. Adam Malisz, he was legend. You know what? He was like,
he's really popular.
He was very popular because he was the kind of guy that you looked at him and he didn't seem like a proper ski jumper. Plus, he had like this little mustache, and everyone just knew like the ski jumper with the mustache. That's Adam.
That's great.
Yeah.
Wow, this is why we have Big Z in the booth with us here. He's got the hard hitting insight. Meanwhile, we should just be, a minute away here from getting underway in what is going to be our decider here in the first semifinal. We're in Nice. It's a beautiful day outside. I can see just outside of a window here, but even better inside as we are in Top 8 Sunday, taking a look at Germany versus Poland. They have so far split matches, and I see Greg coming back into the feature match area here, and it looks like he's ready to do battle, try to make his country proud, but so is Mark Tobias. And we're going to be going into, well, a 4-color energy mirror, though we have been kind of calling Mark's version more of a control deck.
Yeah, it definitely is. It has more instants rather than creatures. And also, he uses the 4th color a little bit more than Kowalski does his. The red mana in Mark Tobias' deck is for Harness Lightning and Whirl Virtuoso, whereas Greg mostly using his black just for Vraska, Relic Seeker, and the Scarab God, which he's running fewer of than the cards I mentioned on Mark's side. But the great start for Mark. One of the problems with the 4-color control deck that your mana really isn't that great, and you play a lot of double card mana costs, right? You have like Vrask's Contempt, which is double black. You have Torrential Gearhulk, which is double blue. And if you start off with an Attune with Ether, your mana looks set to be good to go.
So good starts for both players here. Energy flowing in both directions. They've both got a couple. Let's see if Mark has that glint sleeve siphoner that did so much work for him.
It was so good in game 2. Might just have to Fatal Push the Servant away.
Okay, he's going to try to control the mana scenario here. Just use his Fatal Push.
And if you look at his hand, it's really like a control deck, right? Harness Lightning, Vraska's Contempt, Torrential Gearhulk. What Mark wants to do here is just to get to the late game as much as possible. And the best way for Greg to counter this would be playing something like a Bristling Hider. And I think he has one in his hand, but it's going to be a turn. He's going to start with a Whirl Virtuoso, which is great too. How annoying is
that for Mark?
It's pretty annoying, just because it's Mark's deck is really good at training 1-for-1. That means like using one card to kill one card of your opponent, and just Virtuoso is on its own 2 cards in a way. The 2, 3, and at least 1 Thopter, potentially more.
Oh, there's a Timely Mountain, though, for Tobias. He does have a Harness Lightning in his hand. And though he's still missing one of his colors, you can see that Kowalski immediately makes a Thopter. He wants to start attacking, and he's going to do that right now. So into the red zone for 3, and he's going to pose the question to Mark, do you want to wait or do you want to go now? And he says, you know what? I'm going to wait. And I think the reasoning for this is probably Bristling Hydra.
Yeah, and the thing is, it looked like, okay, he's going for another Virtuoso, just so choosing to go wide, but... or changing his mind, because it looks like, spending the energy to create a Thopter this early could be a problem, because, the Bristling Hider, when you play, the trigger's still on the stack. That's
what I was saying.
Right, but he has an Ether Hub. Look at that. That's his 3rd energy source. And he has the grid. And he changed his mind. He's going for the Bristling Hider, and he doesn't even realize how huge of a play it is here, because Mark Tobias just has spot removal, doesn't have the counter spell. And resolves 6 energy.
Ether Hub for Gregor's Kowalski. Remember, Mark with no access to blue mana has no counters available right now. So he's going to have to settle for a distant second place, taking down that Whirler Virtuoso that A, already created a token, and B, already hit him for 2. It's not what he wanted for this turn.
Definitely. Now another Thopter also joining the fray here, and Mark Tobias, his best way of getting back into this game, just working his way up to 6 mana as soon as possible while preserving his life total as much as he can. Ideally,
for Gearhulk?
For Gearhulk, yeah, of course.
I mean, because, you think about control decks, right? And normally you think of sweepers. So they'll have some way to kill a bunch of creatures. We don't have those here, right?
No sweepers. And he's not working with a lot of good cards in his hand. If we take a look there, Torrential Gearhulk, Vraska's Contempt, a bunch of lands here. Tough spot for Mark Tobias, who's going to be on the receiving end of 6 damage here from Kowalski.
Whew.
Remember, match 3. Game 3.
Hey, this is it. I mean, if Mark Tobias cannot get something going and get it going very quickly, we are going to see Poland advance to the finals here at the World Magic Cup. This one is falling apart very quickly here on Team Germany.
Yeah, and look,
and there's more
adding to the board. Long Tusk Cub, one more, Greg.
Yeah, do it again.
Why not?
Another Cub. He's got lethal now.
Jeez.
And all that Tobias can do here is just fire off of Vraska's Contempt to put him back up to 13 and take down one of the Cubs. Supreme Will, not really what he wants to see at this point either.
Yeah, a little
the
too
patient
late.
play from Tobias has been benefiting him greatly over the course of the weekend, but Gregor's Kowalski just came out full force.
Yeah,
here in
guns
game number
blazing.
3. Yeah.
He wasn't messing around. Virtuoso, Hydra, and he basically was just the play where he decided to play Bristling Hydra rather than the Roller Virtuoso just created that much more pressure onto Mark Tobias, and now Kowalski is in control of this game. He controls the board. Tobias on 5 lands, so 1 away from that torrential Gearhulk.
Yeah, I wonder if it's going to be enough at this point, because Kowalski's attacking here for 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 minimum. That would knock Mark Tobias down to 5. And remember, Kowalski also has another Whirler Virtuoso in his hand.
Yeah, the Cubs are already gone, but he does have the Virtuoso.
Yeah, he played those 2 Cubs last turn, but that Whirler Virtuoso is still in hand with the land.
It looks like it's Mark Tobias now digging for a removal spell here with the Supreme Will. He wants to find either a Fatal Push or a Harness Lightning, in my opinion, just to kill the Longtest Cub. And now I think Kowalski, he's a known, mind games player. He's kind of bluffing a counterspell here. He's like, oh, I'll make you think about it.
Sure.
And why not? And now he's like, okay.
So there's got to be a Harness Lightning here.
Yeah, otherwise it's 8 damage, and Fatal Push works too on the Longtest Cub. I mean, we know that the Bristling Hydra is in no danger of dying just yet, but those stops might be annoying, and I think Greg is decently happy with this play. If Mark is using a Supreme Will to dig for answers, he's sitting pretty because he has the second Virtuos to follow up, create more flyers, and then the life total of 5 is a lot more manageable for Kowalski.
Yeah, this definitely is going to be a sign of desperation here. If you're sitting in Gregor's seat, you're looking at it like, whoa, this is good news. He doesn't have it now.
Yeah.
He may just not find it. And even if he does, he's used up the bulk of his mana for the turn.
Yeah, very tense turns here. Tobias still trying to decide which card he's going to take with that Supreme Will. And in the meanwhile, Kowalski just explaining to his teammates what he's about to do.
Yes, just walking him through.
Yeah. And as we talked about, Piotr Glogowski is certainly no sludge with energy decks.
No, he's taking it all here. He did not find a removal spell. That's 8 damage. Mark Tobias is down to 5. And Gregor Kowalski is on the verge of putting Poland into the finals. Even if Mark has an untapped land, it feels like the torrential Gearhulk may not be enough at all.
Yeah, now he's thinking is that do you see what he's doing? He's actually lining it up. All right, so he's if Mark he just knows that next turn he's going to play torrential Gearhulk. He already knows it, and he's like, okay, so he's going to play the Gearhulk. He's going to kill my Longtest Cub, gain 2 life of the Vraska's Contempt, block my Bristling Hydra, and I'm coming in for 2 damage. Do I need to play this Virtuoso now, or can I just pass here?
Interesting.
And I think if he made the math, he has to play the Virtuoso here. Yeah, let's go, Greg. Do it.
No, he's just going to pass the turn. Maybe a little window opening here for Team Germany, though there's still a lot of things that have to go right here for Mark Tobias' side. I mean, he needs the land right now for starters. There it is, Ether Hub.
Yeah. So that,
okay, that's stage 1.
I mean, the Contempt is ready in the graveyard.
It's sitting there. We know he has a torrential Gearhulk in his hand. Kowalski does not have any way to interact. Now, there's no... Mark doesn't have to consider that either, right? Was that the Scarab God off the top?
It was.
Oh.
So
even if this goes well for Mark Tobias, then Gregor's can be like, Scarab God, go?
Yeah, exactly. And that's a pretty good play. He'd also go just Virtuoso go, but Scarab God is a very resilient threat. Now, Kowalski just pointing to his Longtest Cup continuously. He's saying, like, this is going to die. This is going to die.
That is no longer a creature.
Yeah, and at this point, Mark Tobias has to have the torrential Gearhulk. Otherwise, Greg just has it. You know, the interesting thing that we could see here is Greg actually not attacking with his ground creatures. Theoretically,
just chipping in with the 2.
He could think about that as well. It's definitely a line of play to consider. And I think Greg might want Mark to tap out. And he has to decide if he wants to see that before or after attacking. Because he could start off with the Scarab God and maybe force Mark Tobias to play the Gearhulk to counter it with a Supreme Will or something similar.
Sure.
So definitely several lines at play here. And I mean, I would be quite happy with having Piotr Glogowski on my side in this spot.
Yeah, if you run it, though, if he does run out the Scarab God, if Tobias were to counter it, he would just be dead. He could block the Hydra, but he would take 5 from the other. So he does actually have free reign. Well, to do either one, honestly.
Yeah, starts off with the Virtuos, though. This helps him get up to enough energy to trade off with the Gearhulk.
That's right.
That's why he was doing this way.
So this is a lethal attack from Gregor Kowalski. This is the needed and necessary torrential Gearhulk for Mark Tobias. He's going to flash back, and he's going to kill the Cub. This is, of course, the play that you were outlining a second ago, and that for sure Greg knows is coming. This is going to happen. That's going to put Tobias back up to 7. Then he can block the Bristling Hydra and only take 2 damage, falling back down to 5.
Yeah, there's the block. We're going to probably see the double pump here from... or he could just not pump and create 2 Thopters.
And make more Thopters. You know, that is hard for Tobias to deal with, right?
Yeah, going wide at this point, I kind of like it. Greg is at 20, so in no fear of dying. Look, now he's pointing to his Virtuoso. Okay, so it's either going to be this or this. Yeah, he's pointing. Hey, look at that. He wants to keep his Virtuos around. He's just checking in with Piotr Glogowski sitting to his left.
Yeah, we can see them sitting in the future match area, and he's just talking to him. I mean, he is just looking to the side and saying, here's what happens if I do this. I mean, I think that he's giving a lot of credit as well to Tobias, just to say, like, we know what's going on here. It's just a question of what do we want to play around? What do we think gives us the best chance of winning? And I think he's going to go ahead and just let the Bristling Hydra die.
Yeah, and this is what we talked about. Spotter move is good, but, just going wide.
We were wrong, by the way. He did decide to trade it off.
Oh, geez.
Interesting. Okay. I kind of liked the making the Thopters line.
Yeah.
It's not like Mark can really race at that point, so the ground creature is kind of irrelevant. It does clear the way for Ruler Virtuoso, but...
Yeah, but still, it's the Greg still has power of the board, right? Getting rid of the Gearhulk just makes sure that the Virtuoso can chip in for a bunch of damage. That's right. As well.
This is going to put Mark Tobias on life support here. If he attacks for 4, interesting.
No, he's
Gregor's
going to
play around a second torrential Gearhulk. And Mark does not have it in his hand. So 2 damage gained by Mark just leaving his mana untapped.
And now again, a big play from Kowalski. Do I expose my Scarab God here, or do I just go for a Servant of the Conduit, which is, remember, not just a 2-mana 2/2. It gives him extra energy.
It's a Thopter.
Yeah, and that's why, in response.
Yes, and that's in response. So there's 2 energy that is going to hit the energy pool there, but... no Thopter available, and Mark Tobias is just hanging on here.
Yeah, by a thread, he's only down to a negate in his hand. If he were to draw another Gearhulk here, it would be amazing.
Let's see what he finds off the top of the library. He does not have any wiggle room at all.
Lining up 2 mana for a negate, but I think he found a Siphoner.
Okay, that does actually block on the ground.
Yeah,
it would mean that he's going to fall to 3, though.
Yeah, those Thopters are chipping in here.
Also, let's not forget that Kowalski's still sitting there on the Scarab God.
Of course he does. And he might respect something like an Essence Scatter. Maybe something like a Supreme Will, but even though Mark Tobias would have probably played a Supreme Will just to dig for some better answers. So at this point, Greg Kowalski has to narrow it down, and he's seen the negate in game 2. It was actually game-winning for Mark Tobias in game 2, but negate doesn't counter the Scarab God, and he goes for it.
Negates has nothing to say here, and that could be the death knell for Team Germany.
If that resolves.
Yeah, the Scarab God has hit the battlefield, and sure, it won't win him the game this turn, but it very well might next turn. He's going to force a trade here.
Has to.
Yep, must do it, or else the Scarab God activation on his upkeep could just kill him. Let's see what Tobias finds. He's got to have another Gearhulk or something. No, he doesn't find it, and that's going to do it. Poland is in to the finals. Gregor Kowalski can't believe it.
Yeah, look at his face. He's so happy that.
Oh man!
But it was a very, very tough game. I mean, he had so many options, several turns in a row, and he just had to figure out the right play. It worked out for him in the end. Mark Tobias bricked a little bit, drew a couple of too many lands, but he was living in fear of the second torrential Gearhulk. But Germany didn't find it.
Great run by Team Germany. Not bad, guys. dominated. I mean, honestly, they really kind of crushed this tournament up until this point, but finally found somebody who could beat them, Team Poland.
Yeah, I mean, this is only the second match they lost all tournament long, but it's going to be Poland in the finals, and I'm happy to see my brothers from the north make it in. I was rooting them from the start of the day. I swear, you can look back at the video. I did say if Poland is one of the teams I'm support, even though I'm from Slovakia. My boys did me proud by top 8ing.
You were also rooting for the Czech team.
No,
sometimes the Germans.
Oh, yeah,
you
you're
like
right.
a lot of the USA play. Like,
Yeah.
So we've got one
here.
more semifinal match to bring you. It's going to be Japan versus Italy.
Wow.
But first, these messages.
Welcome back to the news desk. Well, Poland enters the first slot of the finals here at the World Magic Cup, and Brian David Marshall is down on the floor with the victors.
Thanks, Maria. I'm here with Team Poland, Gregor Kowalski. Mark of a great player to me is that can win a match and still be very critical. You were kind of like playing through those last turns you had, and you said you weren't very happy with how you played?
I'm not. To be honest, I think we messed up the the turn where he played Gearhulk, because we really expected him to have Gearhulk, and we should have played around that. But at some point, the judge told us to play faster, so we were really short to get a slow play warning, which we wanted to avoid. And in the end, we just did incorrect attack, which could have cost us the game, but fortunately it didn't. But yeah, we should have played better the game.
Now, what's going through your head on those last couple turns? You have the option of maybe playing the Scarab God, playing the Whirler Virtuoso, trading off for the Bristling Hydra. What was the decision tree for you?
Yeah, there was a lot of cards we should had in mind and try to play around. So we just we didn't want to throw the best threat, which is the Scarab God, obviously, onto the battlefield. So we tried to just go wide with Virtuoso and stuff like that. We shouldn't have attacked with Hydra into the Gearhulk, so it was a big mistake because it cost us 6 energy in the end, because we have to pump Hydra to just trade. So we should just play Virtuoso and make a bunch of tokens attack from the air. But after that, I don't know.
But you're through to the finals here, and waiting for this match behind us. Radek, we haven't had a chance to talk to you very much. Just what's going through your head as you're watching your captain play out this match?
Well, I was pretty sure he's going to win it because he was on the play. That's first. He has an edge when he's on the play because he has a lot of little monsters in his deck, and his opponent cannot block them. So the only thing I was worried that he's gonna be Mana Screw or something.
All right, he wasn't. They're through to the finals. Team Poland looking to become a World Magic Cup champion for the first time in their Magic history.
Through who joins them, semi-final 2 is coming right up. Let's take a look at the bracket, show you where we've reached. 5 of our 7 matches are now done here at the World Magic Cup. Germany over Slovakia, Poland over Wales, Japan over Austria, Italy over China. Now we've seen Poland over Germany, which means it's time for semi-final 2, Japan against Italy. Maria, tell us a little bit about Team Japan.
All right, there you see them there on your screen. Team Japan captain Yuya Watanabe, Kenta Hirane, and Shota Yasaoka. Quite a formidable threesome here at the World Magic Cup. But what decks have they brought to the table? We've got Ramunap Red, piloted by the Control Master himself, Shota Yasaoka. 4-color energy is what Yuya Watanabe will be bringing to the table, and Kenta Hirane with white-blue God Pharaoh's Gift.
Okay, so what's the most interesting of this bunch, Matej?
I'm definitely eyeing the middle match. Because Yuya Watanabe is running the energy deck, but Shota Yasaoka Ramunap Red deck. You know what? I like the choosing. You said it yourself. It's the
control deck.
The Control Master, and we've seen it in the quarterfinals.
Yes, we did.
Shota was actually playing the Ramunap Red deck as a control deck, which was amazing to see. But he's just really good at figuring out what can my opponent have and plays around it.
Okay, let's take you to Team Italy then. This is who Japan have to get past. Andrea Mengucci in his 3rd successive top 8 here at the World Magic Cup, with Adriano Moscato on the left there and Mattia Rizzi on his right. The decks: blue-black control for Rizzi, green-blue pummeler for Andrea Mengucci. That's in the middle seat, green-blue pummeler. There you see it with the electrostatic pummeler, the key card, of course, and Adriano Moscato with Ramunap Red. So let's just pick one of these. Let's take a quick look at perhaps the most interesting of these 3 decks, Matej.
Well, for me, the most interesting one was definitely the green-blue pummeler in the middle, piloted by Andrea Mengucci.
So this is the Mengucci deck. There we see it. Yep.
And we've seen it to put to good use in the quarterfinals. He didn't even need the pummeler to win.
Cartouche of Knowledge.
Cartouche of Knowledge, one of your favorite cards. I know.
Oh, yes.
I know as much. And they just put it to good use, and even being very aggressive with the Hashabo Aces. I really like the fact that in the interview yesterday he said, "I haven't really used the Hashabo Aces that much."
And then he did.
And then the quarterfinals just boom,
Love
boom,
it.
and takes it home for Italy.
All right, Maria, so let's look at the matchup then. Who plays who and what does that mean?
All right, let's take a look in Seat A for Japan. Shota Yasaoka on Ramunap Red versus Mattia Rizzi playing Blue-Black Control. Okay, can the red deck get in fast enough before Blue-Black Control does what it wants to do?
Yeah, pretty much. The Italians were very happy to have this matchup in the quarterfinals, now again in the semifinals, but they lost it in the quarterfinals. Actually, Mattia Rizzi couldn't just keep pace with the Ramunap Red deck, and in the hands of Shota Yasaoka, I would actually be scared.
So then in Seat B, and the way these have lined up, you actually have finalist against finalist, captain against captain, champion against champion, which is nice. Yuya Watanabe as captain, Full Color Energy against Green Blue Pummeler. We've discussed those. And then the third one, where Ramunap Red this time is on the Italian side against White Blue Gift. Will the Ramunap Red deck be fast enough there, Matej?
Well, we'll see about that. I keep going back and forth about this matchup because it's once the red deck wins, another time it's the blue-white gift deck. So I would say it's about equal.
Okay, Maria, it's time to get you down for our second semi-final here at the World Magic Cup.